So, you know my whole theory about how R&B and virtuosos is going to be the thing?
Yes.
Turns out I'm right.
Well, okay. That was quick.
No, it turns out I have evidence of it.
Let me see some evidence. Not that I'm actually disagreeing with you at all, but let me see some evidence.
Oh, bro, I got evidence. I reacted to this the other week, so this is going to be Patreon only.
So when you're talking R&B,
Yeah. I'll show you. I'll show you.
okay,
You'll
okay.
see. Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. So that's my evidence.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
Because I don't think that there's another style of fill, like outside like a gospel fill or an R&B fill, that you could carry on that long before the shot.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I also don't think that there's, like, if I do like 16th notes and like a big snare through the toms and stuff, it just doesn't have the energy of that.
No. Well,
know-
like, okay, so I think what you're talking about is like, there's like, okay, so gospel playing in general is this amazing, like, have you ever been in a gospel church?
No, man. I've watched probably 100 videos though, and it's on my bucket list.
The only time I was in the Brooklyn Tabernacle.
Okay.
Brooklyn Tabernacle,
Awesome.
5,000 seat theater in Brooklyn. And I think it's like 140 person band / choir. Wow. Right. And it's the level of musicianship that it takes to get into those situations is unbelievable.
Oh, I bet.
Everybody's playing at a really, really high level. But the thing is like there's a beautiful thing that gospel has to it, which is like everybody has to be able to sing. That's condition number one. Mm-hmm. And then all the musicians are amazing. Mm-hmm. So you don't mess up.
Because you get
rule number
grandfathered
one.
up, right?
Oh, well, yeah, you come up through the church usually,
Yeah.
right? But you're around beasts,
Yeah.
right? And it's just one of those like you kind of grow in that. And
With
this,
beasts.
yeah. And so the thing is you don't ever mess up rule number one, which is everybody sings. Don't ever mess that up.
Okay.
And then you're amazing, and everybody around you is amazing, and you're all having fun, and it's this like celebration.
Yeah, because like this drummer playing that, it's like it literally just like it brings it life.
Yeah.
Like it's just that's a great word for it. It's a celebration.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
but it's like celebration together. So there's this amazing thing that ends up happening, which is nobody steps on each other.
That and it makes no sense to me.
Well, no,
It wrinkles my brain.
it's fair. I think that's a situation where everyone's listening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like as much as it seems like they're being showy to show off, they're not
It
actually
never
doing
is though.
that.
No, it never is. It's all like
It's
about
to
this
serve the
huge
song.
feeling. Yeah. It's just
serve
amazing.
the song and to create an energy in the environment, right?
Bro.
And like that's the type of stuff that like you have to be well above in caliber for what you're playing. Mm-hmm. Like because you don't have to do that. Mm-hmm. You could just do,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
But the caliber of musician that's playing that is playing way above their pay grade, right?
Yeah.
And you see that in a lot of hip hop bands, like rappers that hire bands. The caliber of musician that they hire is second to none.
It's ridiculous.
And they're playing things that are really simple.
Yeah.
But then they get to embellish and
have fun with
create
it.
the song.
Yeah.
And it's all to serve the song. They're all listening together, which is, I mean, well, we've been in bands where people don't listen to each other.
Yeah. Every band.
Yeah. Because everybody ends up thinking that they're important, right?
And they are. Don't get me wrong.
It's a cog in a wheel.
It's important if the whole thing's working.
Exactly. Yeah. You are a piece of a puzzle, right?
Yep.
But the central focus being on the performance, the song, whatever else is, and your talent is there to increase that, not to take the stage of that or not to take over from that. And I think that's what you're getting when you get that type of thing is you get this approach of it's flashy in a way that is kind of perfect. And I think in any other genre, it makes it so that there's a lot more almost competition between instruments rather than play together.
Well, because like, you know, one of the things that I talk about on my channel, and we'll get into the episode soon, is like when the guitar solo happens, I kind of don't care because I'm a guitar player.
Yeah.
I'm not a lead player, but it's just it's guitar players, right? Yeah. So it's like, what's the ride doing? Like, I want to hear what that ride bell's up to, or like the bass or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like all of a sudden, now you have a drummer that's playing lead drums, but it's not taking away from the guitar solo.
Yep.
Like that is a special thing to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, it's just also really rare.
yeah.
You're seeing it now more in a lot of different avenues of music that it wouldn't necessarily have been present in. And I'm not necessarily saying that it's like gospel inspired, but that idea of the composition to serve the performance of the song or whatever like that is becoming more and more common. Like you're seeing even in country acts and stuff like that. Like a lot of the country acts now have big shows like this type of thing where you have this like well choreographed thing that is about serving a purpose, and you have high quality musicians that are all listening to each other and doing it together to create a thing together. And you know, a lot of the times with the country records, it was like, okay, well, they're just going to play it the way that it is, which is fair. You know what I mean? Because they're already using real instruments. So why wouldn't you just replicate the thing that people know? Yeah. But the thing that's kind of become a lot more commonplace is the ins and outs of the songs, and or doing covers of things. Like
We were talking about
like
this
that,
before. Yeah,
where
yeah.
it's like the Daughtry stuff. He might want it record perfect for the single,
Yeah.
but for this tune, let's hit it with all of everything we got.
I listened to the original, like, and it's got that same pattern, bo da bo 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 da bo. But there's no fills. There's like it's a studio record, right? And it's killer. Don't get me wrong. It's just the energy that comes, man. You start getting that drummer in there is just it's just
Next
different.
level.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I always appreciated about Lewis. Is I felt like he had those chops.
He did.
You know what I mean?
He was the only drummer that I ever worked with that did.
Yeah.
And when I started seeing him in my YouTube channels, I was like, oh, that was a Lewis Mate fill. I was like, oh, that was a gospel fill.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
that's
cool.
exactly it.
Yeah.
And that's what he was learning. He was learning R&B and gospel fills.
So
and,
cool.
And like punk took a lot of that stuff, right?
Oh,
It
yeah.
just kind of made it
ska
quicker.
and stuff. And
Well, it's just like, I don't know. There's like a way of playing that, in my opinion, says gospel fill.
yeah.
Which is deep pocket, right? And like kind of lean back a little bit. Like you're almost like, why didn't you come in a little sooner kind of thing, where it's like, oh man, that pocket was really deep.
Yeah.
Whereas rock drummers and stuff like that, they tend to play ahead when it comes to things like that. And when you keep that deep pocket and you hit something like that, all of a sudden it's got a different thing.
It's got like a swag to it almost.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's where like when he does that, he drifts in and out of like standard rock drumming into something that feels different.
Yeah.
And that's that gospel fill.
Yeah.
It's this like deep pocketed fill. You could write it down on paper and it should seem the same, but it's not.
Yeah. It's got a like a swing and like a it's got a soul to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's just like a solidness to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Foundational, right?
And where when the one lands too, it's different coming out.
Oh man, and like I like that rock bands are starting to incorporate the shot on two, because that is like there's nothing that makes me want to just like throw my hands in the air and dance more than a shot on two, man. And rock bands are starting to do it. I'm like, who do you think you are over there?
People be trying.
Yeah,
I like it.
And on that note, welcome everybody to episode 25. I'm Jess. He's Kevin. And what's going on, man? How's your weekend?
Good. It was quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You had a massage today.
I did. Yeah. I got the crap beaten out of me.
Yeah.
But it's good because I needed it really
Yeah.
badly. And then I was sledding this morning. Yeah, I know.
You were sledding,
Yeah.
like on like a hill.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Very small hill and a very small person.
I have questions.
Yes, go on.
Because I know for a fact that you saw my video of me pulling Danielle on a sled with a quad last year.
Yes.
So I'm just curious as to why you chose the baby little tiny hill instead of my sweet quad in the back.
It wasn't really me sledding. It was a 2-year-old.
It could have been you and the 2-year-old. Is
The
what I'm saying.
2-year-old would barely go on the sled.
Oh,
So I'm working my way to it.
okay, okay. Well, when you're
yes.
ready, when you're ready.
Well, I'm ready. But yeah, no, it was pretty adorable.
Good.
So yeah, it was snowy but good. That's the first time I've really had like I don't know. It's been so cold here.
I know.
So like
It's y'all. It's minus 12 outside, and it feels like hoodie season.
yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Well,
not
we're-
right now because it's dark, but
The thing I realized, we were talking about this the other day at work, where it's like we really are built different. You know, like the minus 40, and then all of a sudden it's like minus 15, and we're all out in like hoodies.
yeah.
And it's just like, oh yeah, it's hot. No, it's not. It's terrible. And most of the world would look at that and go like, this is awful.
Yeah.
But we're looking at like a sweet respite.
Yeah, like it's like a break.
Yeah, honestly.
My dad thrives in the minus 40.
Really?
Oh, yeah, he comes to life, bro.
Why?
So my dad works for like he does maintenance on like trucks and trailers and ATVs and all kinds of stuff for like an oil and gas company. And he'll drive out into the middle of BC or Saskatchewan or something like that. And it'll be minus 40 and he's out there with like a lamp fixing a truck. And he's like, well, no one will come talk to me, so it's a good time to do it.
I finally got some peace and quiet.
Yeah.
Everybody else is inside.
Speaking of peace and quiet, what'd you think of did you watch Reacher?
Oh, I did.
What'd you think? Final episode.
Okay.
Final episode of this season. Sorry, I don't know where it's going to go after this.
Well, it better keep going because I enjoy it.
New town.
But one-liner made me so sad.
Oh, at the very end?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I don't want to start there.
Yeah.
I was really excited that they got to that fight scene like quick and early.
Well, okay, I agree.
Yeah, and like the amount of headbutts and broken ankles, like the ratio of bad guys who who got headbutted and their ankles broken was ridiculous in that episode.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Well, so I did have a question in that though, because I was like, okay, watching episode 8 and most of what needed to be killed was killed. And I paused it. I was like, there's 25 more minutes left to go in this.
Yeah.
What do they need to do?
The action ended at 35 minutes remaining, I think. It was a 42 episode, or it was 15 minutes in. I can't remember. Anyways. Yeah. And it was all just sappy bullshit.
Yeah.
All of it.
I know.
Yeah.
And it was one of those like, you did not need to do that.
But hold on. We're skipping over the Spider-Man scene.
Explain.
In the helicopter when Dixon flies out and he just like catches her and he's like hanging on and then he's got the knife in his bicep too.
Okay, I must have missed when that happened because I watched her take it out of his bicep. I don't remember him getting stabbed.
Yeah, he was like fighting the one dude and Buddy came up and stabbed him in the arm and that like totally fucked him up because his arm was like done, right?
Yeah.
And he's beating up these bad guys with like one hand.
Naturally.
And yeah, and then he grows and then the next time he uses that arm is to save Dixon. And I think that was on purpose. And then she takes the knife out of his arm to get Buddy. Like,
ew. I mean, good. He did great. But like, there's no way. And I really do think they missed an opportunity to keep that show kind of serious. I really thought Dixon was going to die.
See, I totally did too. Like we were at that point where it's like, oh man, we're gonna lose her, right?
Yeah. Well, because like,
I just want y'all to understand
that physics.
That's my last name too, so I just have a little soft spot for her.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I thought for sure that was gonna be it.
Well, it should have been probably.
Yeah. But like, no, they let us like on a few times because I thought the dad was gonna die a couple times.
Oh, I thought everybody in that
because we kept saying like he's the only one with kids, man. Like, what are you guys doing here?
Oh, and I thought he was bad for a long time for some reason.
Yeah, well, because he always had that like snarky attitude and like he was always kind of like second guessing things.
And Swan, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And that was gross.
Yeah, that was pretty gross. Yeah. Oh yeah, that made me like. I'm not even gonna repeat that one for y'all if you haven't seen it. Yeah. That made me really uncomfortable. Definitely watch that episode. Watch that episode.
It was good.
That first headbutt, bro, with when he's got the handcuffs on still.
Yeah.
That was disgusting.
I loved that whole fight.
Yeah.
Like he was just taking on like 10 people with no hands.
And then they realized that I can never remember her name, but she wasn't dead because they set him up for that.
Neely?
Yeah, sorry, that one.
Is it Neely or Neely?
I think it's Neely.
But it's
K-N.
So I watch everything with subtitles because because that's just how I roll. Apparently, I don't know where I got that from. It is spelled Neagley.
I always thought it was Neely.
Well, because they say it that way.
Yeah.
But like I keep reading it as Neagley.
Interesting.
I don't know.
That's so interesting.
I guess it's not really a
big
deal, but
Reacher told Bowser, I referred to him in the last episode. Excuse me. Reacher told him that she died in the hospital. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Oh, okay.
So Danielle had to save me on that one, and then it all made sense because I was like, there's like, you know, you're expecting 5 people and 4 show up, and you're just like, yeah, business as usual.
Let's keep
like,
on
that's
going.
on you, right? So,
keep on trucking.
Yeah, her like one of the most badass scenes that she had though was in that episode. The 1, 2.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
1, 2, and I'm just like, oh, for sure, that's what you're up to.
Yeah,
I've never really shot firearms, especially like that. But that would make sense if you're hitting 2 targets. Just like get used to the pattern.
Yeah, get used to the pattern. Understand, predict the distance, what you need to move. Yeah. Makes sense. I was confused as to why she didn't use a silencer, but that's okay.
That just might have been like heat of the moment. Didn't have one.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
The 25 minutes of goodbye, so
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that was a long, long, long one.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised at that, but I was surprised at that.
Yeah.
They were filling a lot of time in this season.
Yeah.
Just was a lot of like.
You could have
time
stretched the
fill.
fight out though.
I
It was
think
just like
it's-
guns are blazing, and then
I think it's really expensive.
yeah. Oh wait, hold
You know?
on.
I think that stuff costs so much money.
Was this the episode where they shot the helicopter out of the
Yes.
air? Right.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was
yeah.
wild.
That's where like
That was
everybody
wild.
died.
Yeah.
They killed people with a missile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
And
oh
then,
yeah.
And then like Homeland Security showed
up to
after
bail
that.
him out.
Yeah.
To be fair though, like these are like some pretty bad. They were like some really wanted pilots, I guess.
They've killed so many people.
I know.
And like at first it was like the first set that they killed was like, oh, we'll put them in cement. No one will ever find out. After that, everyone's finding out everything.
Everyone else was just left behind.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's crazy.
I felt like they got a little bit more clearance on this one though, because it was like an official case. Because they had Buddy in the house, in the like not in the White House, but the dude that got arrested.
Yeah.
He was
The
helping him
senator or
out.
whatever.
Yeah, and all these people
Yeah.
are helping him out. So it was like more like on the books than not on the books.
I don't know. I'm cool with it, but at the same time, it was one of those like, man, they're getting away with a lot.
Yeah.
Like everybody's dying all the time.
Yeah.
Without any type of remorse.
I loved the show for the action, and I'm glad that this season is done. And I'm looking forward to him somehow being bigger in the next
He's
season.
gonna be bigger.
Yep.
He said he's 260 or 265 or something like that right now.
Huh.
He's big.
That's really big, yeah. For like how lean he is too.
Yep.
Yep.
He's a big boy.
I
I do got another one for you that I want you to start.
What's that?
Fool Me Once
Okay.
on Netflix. It's an 8-episode series,
Okay.
limited series. It's British. I'm not through it yet, but it's pretty good so far.
It's pretty good. Okay, I'll start that one. Remind me at the end of this. Our channel moderator Elizabeth wants us to do a show too. I can't remember what it's called, but she said it's got full of one-liners and all kinds of stuff. Which actually, to go back to the Reacher thing, his one-liner at the end:
Oh, it was awful.
"In an investigation, assumptions get you killed."
That was terrible.
Throws him out the window.
That was absolutely terrible.
I actually yelled at the top of my lungs. I was like, "Details matter."
It was rough,
Assumptions
dude.
get you killed. It was like, "Fuck."
And they later went, yeah, that was a great line.
Yeah.
Like they themselves were congratulating
Say
themselves.
something cool. Something cool. Yeah.
Did you say something cool? Yeah, I totally did.
Yeah. What'd you say? Something cool.
Yeah, it was brutal. That was like, that was rough in my opinion. But
I'm hoping that this season did well enough to project them into the next one.
they're already filming it.
Oh, good. Then I'm hoping that they got enough
I think
money
it's
to do a
3
good job.
and
of it.
4. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 3 and 4 is what they're filming right now.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I think they're going
road
to
to
do just
Olympia.
fine. Well, hopefully. I'm just interested to see what he gets involved in next because, like, my guess is it's some sort of big thing.
Yeah.
Big superhero or action or whatever, but they probably need to build a franchise around him.
Yeah.
That is like big time movie stuff. But
Okay, let's get off of Reacher. I'm tired of
Yeah,
Reacher.
okay.
Let's talk about some music stuff.
all right.
So I watched a video. You want to talk about drummers? You want to talk about low mids?
They're both important to talk about.
I know. Actually, and I am willing to to go out and be that guy to make them important. So drummers,
To
people
be
who
fair-
appreciate low mids.
We were talking about drummers basically in the beginning.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about drummers. So I watched, I'm not through it yet either, a documentary called Count Me In.
Yeah.
And it was really, really, really good, man. Like watching, and I'm really bad with names. Like I should almost have you with the iPads. You can correct me in how many times I'm wrong in the day. They had the drummer from Iron Maiden.
Yep.
Talking about the shuffle that got him like to fall in love with drums. And then you listen to Iron Maiden, you hear it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, oh, there is a shuffle to this.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just like, I was so happy with my pots and pans.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do it, but it's just like, I couldn't believe it, man.
Did you ever hear Dave Grohl talk about what he stole, where he stole from?
No, but he might be in this. Taylor Hawkins was. Rest in peace.
Grohl was talking about, because he was talking with, I think he was talking with Pharrell at the time. And Pharrell was talking to him about how much he liked his drums. And he said, I was just stealing from these guys. And it's the Flam. The Flam was from 70s disco stuff.
Oh, for sure.
And that whole like Smells Like Teen Spirit thing, that was like, and he played the thing afterwards, and I was just like, oh, yeah, it's just we're taking someone else's tricks and we're just reinventing for now.
Yeah.
In the genre that I'm doing currently, kind of thing.
And it's so interesting because, like, even just watching the drum kits evolve, the techniques evolve, and then, like, you get the sticklers saying that's Buddy in his cutoff t-shirt flailing around on the toms. He's not a real drummer, and then everyone wants to be him. And it's like what's interesting is, and I'm not trying to over glorify my music preferences and like what I grew up on, but like the artists that I grew up listening to are the same ones that these artists were mentioning, their drummers specifically, but that's music I don't listen to for the drums. So that was kind of interesting to me, because if I took those same songs that they were talking about, like Animals and the Beatles, like there was all kinds of them, but it was like always the guitar parts I wanted to learn in those same songs. And I remember those same examples. It wasn't the drums that caught my attention, but now that I heard it and they were like emphasizing the drums, I was like, man, these guys were going crazy. For a long time.
Well, I mean, it is what was out. So like a lot of people that were growing up in those eras, they bonded to him for whatever reason. They connected to that song, and then the song was popular. But like, I don't know. I think for us, obviously, guitar players, we tend to just gravitate towards guitar. It takes a lot for us to care about a drummer. For the most part. And I'm not saying anything about drummers. It's just not the language that we speak usually. But for drummers in general, that's the language that they're speaking. So they have because like, a singer is not going to know the guitar player people that I know. Because who would care unless you care about guitar? But like the musicianship that was happening in that time was going to be prolific if there were large songs.
Well, and it was unseen, right? And unheard too, because there was so many like breakthroughs in audio and stuff, which we can talk about after too. But one of the big ones for me was how much love John Bonham got.
Oh, dude.
Which I knew, but like I didn't know. You know what I mean? Because like I know John Bonham's that dude, but I didn't know like how much like respect and like how much he did, like just being willing to like people just hadn't heard those intros.
He was huge. He was able to get things out of drums at an era that was very difficult to provide volume in spaces.
Interesting.
His overall thing too, like he was a big dude. His kick drum was bigger than
we had like a replica drum kit at the guitar store that we worked at. So like we've played with these things before.
And it's just like a different thing could happen. And not to mention like when they were recording, they did a lot of things that were outside of the box. So like that, oh man, now the song is going to escape me, but
I just remember like the guitar delay conversation, how they'd have like one amp here and then just have a feed out to another amp like 50 feet back. And then the natural time delay is how they got the delay that they wanted.
Well, with Bonham, that big reverbed sound that he had was from a stairwell. So they did mobile recording for this one record. And Levy, when the levee breaks. So that drum sound is mostly from one mic dangling from the top of a stairwell. And because they were mostly recording drums in this like it was in other parts of the house. Basically, they rented out a big house. It was like a castle.
This is like a common thing that people used to do.
And they had brought around a truck that was a mobile recording truck. So all the equipment was in the truck, and then they would feed cable into the house. And that was the big thing, was this drum sound. And it was mostly just him being a beast in the middle of a stairwell.
That's so cool.
And it's like a completely different understanding of what drums could sound like. And made that song sound unbelievable. But that's because they had freedom to experiment. They were really good players.
They were rich.
Well, yeah, and they were given resource to create. Like my brother sent me this thing the other day, which is creative people need time to sit around and do nothing. Like that's what they could afford if they were big. Right? It's just like sit around
and let's figure this thing out.
As soon as the thing is supposed to be birthed, like a Rick Rubin type situation, it's like in its time it will arrive, and then we will allow it to be.
Interesting.
And we, right now, if people can afford that in their daily lives, they can create amazing things. But it's harder and harder for people to just be able to fund someone to sit around and do nothing. Because how do we do that nowadays?
Yeah,
it's a different type of.
Well, I guess like to get to that level of success, there is no downtime. You're posting TikToks, you're posting YouTube videos, you're tweeting, you're like doing all the shit to make it to that size. There is no more like going out and selling out walls of CDs and all that shit, right? Not at the same extent.
Well, then
I'm thinking out loud here. I'm not speaking factually.
no, I see what you're saying, because like everybody now is expected to cover a plethora of avenues, right? It's not like you just get the one radio tour and that's it. Like there's any number of ways of getting yourself in front of people, and there's a lot of time and energy into diverting yourself into those things. So it's not only that you're just creating, you're also trying to create to show that you can create, and that's tricky.
It is.
But then my question is like, does that actually help? Does that help because you're just taking swings?
I mean, that's subjective because, like, if you like the swing, if you like the music, if you like the art, and, like, not to mention, if it takes me 6 to get to number 7 that connects with you, then why not get through the 6?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but by doing all of these micro creativities, is it making it so that people can engage with that process more frequently, have all the failures because each one costs less, right? Like a failure on a digital platform is not exactly a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, like, I could take this video and I can make enough content for Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube and TikTok for a month if I wanted to, just this conversation.
Yeah.
So in theory, yeah.
But then, like, if you're taking all those swings and it's forcing you to work that muscle over and over again, is it getting you better? Or is creativity just an entirely different thing than a skill?
See, it depends on your skill set because in today's world, I have to be the videographer that convinces you to watch my video, and I also have to be the audio engineer that convinces you to listen to my video. And if I miss one of those things, then I'm out of your pool, right?
So your barriers to entry have increased as well.
Well, the expectation of my barrier to entry. So yes, anyone can get started, anyone can do the thing, but to get recognized, to get name recognition, to get booked, to get like all those things comes from you being this one source of everything.
I'm not necessarily saying the monetary success.
No. But bear with me on this thought for a second.
Yeah.
So if I like, let's look at my example. I make YouTube videos. I have a music video coming out a couple days after this podcast will air. I've filmed other music videos. I've recorded an EP. If I was to move up to that next step, like if I got 10,000 people just wanted to hear my music, I would still have to do all those things just to get you to hear my music.
Right. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So it's not so much the like we booked this band and this studio and this producer and we have a month, or we have a year, we have 6 years to do the one perfect project the world's going to hopefully eat up for the next 20 years. You know what I mean? It's like you have to build and you remind people that you're building, and you have to remind people why you keep coming back. And that's just a part of the art now. Like, how can I use all these different platforms to connect with you and between my music and you? This is another part of the art now, I would argue.
It's a part of the art business.
Well, so is everything we're talking about early. Like it takes the art business in the 70s to be able to pay Led Zeppelin to sit in a building and figure out how to get the sound they want. Like that comes from something. Today, you and I we could rent a house, we could sit there and we could play with it until it sounds banging, put it out, and nobody might hear it.
Right.
And that is what it is, right? And that's why like the creation side of it has to be the art side of it too. Because a painter's not going to paint a picture for the world. They're going to paint a picture because they want to paint the picture, right? They're inspired. So now that video, that blog, that essay that you wrote, that letter that you delivered for the newspaper, all that shit, like that's on you. Your street team's on you in the early days. And I don't think that ever used to be. And I'm not trying to discredit, because I've been that guy handing out CDs and tapes on the corner. I've been recording off a phone or like a tape player. You get the drum kit and then you try to get the guitar on top of it and you try to bounce it out somehow. Like I've been there. I've done that stuff, right? And that just doesn't seem like was treated like it was a part of the art. Like it was like cutting your teeth before. But now the cutting your teeth is getting your video to look good when it goes up on YouTube. You got to make 100 videos first, cut your teeth, and then get your video to go out.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're landing on why they keep changing the title of this to like creator. You know what I mean? It's a little tough to explain to somebody that they're this, like a segmented portion of this, because now I guess you're right. The job description or the creative bubble that you now have to be a part of is just larger. It's wider defined in terms of the role that you're going to have to fulfill in order to do the thing that you actually want to do.
Yeah.
Which is,
And you have to self-manage your business too. So like think about Feo, right? You guys had to book, you had to do all your finances, you had to do all your social media and all that stuff. Now, if you exacerbate that by like you don't book anymore, you only do everything online.
Yeah.
Like you have to find time to film, and you have to find time to set up your sets, and you have to find, and that's an art, man. Like that is a whole part of it. And you might, if you're lucky enough to find someone that's inspired by that and just wants to be there for the journey, then great. Like Ren and Sam, great duo, right?
Yeah.
But it's just, otherwise, man, that's on you.
That's really like, I don't know how I feel about that. Mostly because I was on the other end of the, like, I haven't really had to do all things for all things. I had to do a little bit of it for tattooing.
Yep.
Like a little bit.
But like the moneymaker, quote unquote, for the business in Feo was, let's go play this festival and move 200 CDs, sell 20 T-shirts or whatever, right? That's where the money comes from. Like if the venue pays us enough to get there and bring everybody we need to bring and book the stuff we need to book, we'll make our money on the CDs and the stuff. Take away the CDs, take away the audience. How do you survive?
I mean, you don't.
Right? You guys made videos. You guys made promo videos. And I remember you guys staying up till 2 a.m. And I remember there was a really monumental question that got asked. It was like, is this good enough to see so-and-so?
Yeah.
And even though that may or may not have been true, that was a really, really, really monumental question. It's like, is this good enough? And that's where the art comes in. Can you give this to the world? And today it's like, you have to. It's like already assumed that you have to be able to do that.
Okay, so just going to be a little devil's advocate.
Yep.
So Rick Rubin,
Yep.
one of the quotes that he had was, art is only for the creator.
Yeah.
So
The audience is last.
yeah. So in that idea, though, a lot of the art that you're describing, is it to make sure that the creator is happy? So like when you're going to make these videos and things like that, right? Is it so that your soul feels settled?
I think so, because like say Our Last Night, their videos are banging, right?
Yeah.
And I think that adds to the art they're trying to give to us.
Right.
I think and I know they hire out now, but I remember they're like behind the scenes videos of them with an iPhone, like an iPhone 7, all that stuff. Yeah. Like that has to feel good. Otherwise, why would they do it?
Right.
That has to be a part of the demonstration. Because like, and not to mention, if you just give me a still and they went crazy on that studio recording, that cover, that original, and it was just a still, man, like how many people are just going to look away?
Man, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people will look at it as though it's disconnected. It's this thing that you have to do to facilitate the other thing. And I really think
It's getting closer and closer, though.
Well, it makes sense if you embrace it as a part of what you're creating.
Yeah.
Because the same mentality comes down to how you create, right? Like if you're going to start from something from scratch and you're going to finish it, and allow it to breathe, whatever that looks like for somebody. If it's putting it on platforms or displaying it on the sky, I don't know how people do whatever. But like that idea of, okay, from its inception to its birth, if everything about what you need to do, and it is a need, can be put under the sphere of my soul has to be okay with it. This is for my own inner peace of unleashing or giving life to this thing. And then if all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, I need to create this thing and all of these representations of this thing and all of these ways of people becoming known of this thing. And it all becomes through the lens of satisfying one's own heart posture towards it. Because then if you view it, you are at peace. And then that way, I think that also would make it a lot healthier for when people criticize.
You know, I think excuse me. You know what I think it'll make it really healthy for? Is people who look at creator jobs like a 9-to-5. Because I saw, do you know who Rick Beato is?
Yes.
Great YouTuber. Shout out to Rick Beato. He had a video and he was kind of explaining himself. He was watching, there's a whole genre of videos, or there's a whole genre on YouTube of YouTubers quitting YouTube.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, so you can click on this and you can just see thousands of videos of people talking about why they're quitting.
Yeah.
And he argued that it's because people treat it like a 9-to-5.
It would make sense.
And I agree. Creativity is not 9-to-5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I'm trying to create something that's going to settle my heart posture, it's not 9-to-5. That's when it comes, man. Yeah. And that's what
keeps you up at night.
Yeah, and there is a certain part of like you just have to do the thing. Like that's there for sure. But also think about like, let's give another example. If I was a painter, my dream was to have paintings in a coffee shop. I'm not going to open the whole coffee shop to put my paintings on the wall. But because like investment alone would be insane. But as a creator online, that might cost me nothing. So I can have the whole coffee shop to put my art up. So those, like, you kind of have to balance where you want to put the weight in a lot of these things, right? But you can have that metaphorical coffee shop and your art on the wall right now. It's just, if your coffee shop is not going to catch my attention, you're out. And if your art or your video or whatever you create doesn't catch my attention, you're out. And that's in a world of people, everyone trying to get your attention. So it's just, I argue it has to be a part of the
You're
art, bro.
tapping onto something that I think is actually brilliant.
Well, how do you think I haven't burned out yet?
No,
It's the only reason, bro. It's the only reason.
I see it because of what you're doing, but I think conceptually you've tapped into something that is actually kind of a beautiful idea. And I think it is. I think for people to be unwilling to embrace that idea, it would make it so that they're going to quit whatever it is that they're doing.
Yeah.
Like,
if I woke up at, like, I wake up at stupid hours. If I woke up at 7, got ready, had breakfast, had a shower, and at 9 o'clock turned on the camera and started filming, I would burn out in a week. I'd burn out in a week, bro. Sometimes it's 9:15, I got to start. Sometimes it's noon. Sometimes I can't.
Yeah.
Lately, my friends, it's been a lot of I can't. But it's not because I'm burnt out. It's because I'm distracted by things. And it's back to that art. It's like I see all the different things that I need to take care of, and I'm not nurturing them all, and it distracts me from it, because that's one of my frames we talked about last week, right? Yeah. It's when things are going good for me, I find a reason for it to fall. Yeah. So when I start looking at the things that I could do, I get distracted by all the options, right? So I look at, like, say, a merch line. I could have my merch store. I have a merch store. I haven't put my heart into it yet, and I feel bad showing it off because it hasn't gotten my full attention. But that's part of that coffee shop, me displaying my arts. And I've already got the videos. I've proven I can do the videos. The videos heal me every single day. You should have seen me sobbing today, watching one of those videos, reacting. Just ugly crying, bro. But, like, that doesn't always happen at 9 a.m. That happens when it happens. And I have to be free to be okay with that. And if it's a couple of days that I can't do those, then what am I doing in my meantime to keep all these things going? My coffee shop, the art, the music video, like all of it, right? Because again, there's no team.
The team is ME for you, you know?
Yeah. And it's, you know, it is what it is, but like the risk is low. And not to mention, like, if you, in your day of being a musician with CDs and merch and going to festivals and all that stuff, if you hired someone to do what I do by myself, like, just imagine the money. Like, you guys looked at managers and producers and all the shit. Like, if you had someone doing breakdowns of your videos, doing like daily vlogs or weekly vlogs, or even a month, like once a month vlog, you had someone distributing your music for you, getting other people to listen to your music and spread it through there, like, that would be so expensive. Now it's part of the art. Now it's part of the art, man. Like, how many times can I get people to listen to my video this week? And it's like, I look at it like a game because I have to, but like, that's part of it. How many people can I get in my coffee shop rather than the next coffee shop? It's a part of it.
That's fascinating. I mean, like, yeah, I don't know if we wanted this, like, as creators, because, like, I think
It's a lot of work.
I think it is a lot of work, and I think when it's viewed as work, creative types don't like to do that.
The fantasy that everyone still has is that a manager and A&R rep is going to be in your audience, and they're going to pull you off the stage in a small little bar. That fantasy is still alive, and it's why you don't see musicians on my channel, because they don't see the physical person in front of them. Even if there's 2-3 people in front of them, I think that's what it is. I've come to that decision.
So I tend to call that as, like, the miracle belief, or like the lottery winner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Because, like, what was it? It was an Alex Hormozy thing where he said, like, okay, so if you looked at life like a game, like a video game, and you had a character that was based at level 1, and you wanted them to get to X, what does that character have to go through to get to X? And so most people look at people who are at X and don't see that they were at level 1, right? Because we tend to think miraculously. We tend to make things deities or superhumans or better than what really is. which like the really is if you want to do the thing, what is doing the thing? Because like if YouTubers are quitting, okay, that means that whatever their idea of the thing was and what their reality is are two separate.
Yep.
And I think that happens a lot in life. And I mean, I do it too, obviously. Like for me, with the Feo stuff, like I wanted to be able to do what I wanted to do and nothing else.
Yeah. You just wanted like, you know, the bank account's covered. I'm going to record all day if I want to. I'm going to go on tour. I'm going to go and play. And I just want it all to be covered. Well, it's the dream, right?
I just also didn't want to be, out in the thing. Like I like being in behind the something.
Yeah. You didn't want to be the face of
doing
the hey guys, this is a video of us at the NMAX Center.
Yeah, Mike had to do all of that because I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And for me, like in my head, there was a lot of reasons as to why I had a problem with that. But that wasn't a part of what I considered the art to be. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If I did, and I went, you know what?
But it wasn't then, though. Well, I mean, that's probably a perspective thing.
Well, like, okay, so say I all of a sudden placed importance on those types of things, and I said, okay, well, I am the artist creating this art. The other side of my art is all of these auxiliary things that go with it, right? And if that is talking to people, like if it is like, okay, well, I'm going to be
building your brand.
Well,
you're being a salesperson.
Brand, but also like being coherent to whatever it is that I am supposed to be creating, right? Like as the creator of this, what am I? Right? And if I'm not consistently that outside of the creation, then what am I doing?
Yeah.
And I think I had a really hard time allowing myself to be myself in front of people just in general. So that's why I chose the avenue of music in order to try and like get a voice out through
this is who I am, right?
But then when it came down to like people viewing the me portion, it was like, no, listen to the thing. It's cool. I don't want to be I don't want to be in that at that point.
Yeah.
Now I understand that, and I've kind of like,
but you still wouldn't have to be the face of it, though. You could make like an AI generated video that you created,
sure. Yes,
all through prompts to describe the music that you're creating.
No,
right?
you're not wrong, and I get that. It's just like for me back then, what I struggled with and where I drew the boundary of what I considered the job to be was all the things that I wanted and none of the things that I felt were work. And it's because I couldn't understand that a part of the thing that was my creativeness, there was going to be things alongside of that I had to embody within the realm of feeling like they're a part of it.
Yeah.
Whereas all the things that I thought were separate from it were actually a part of it. I just refused to look at them that way.
Well, and the like weight of it wasn't as important back then. And we could hindsight's 2020. We could argue that if we did that stuff, maybe we would still be going today. I don't know.
Well, I just think I was still looking for miracles.
Yeah,
I was thinking that it didn't have to be.
Dude,
work.
My one rule, now that we're getting up to like 50,000 subscribers, my one rule is that you have to have an online audience if you want to come on my channel. Like you have to have respect for mine by having your own. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And the amount of people that say, I don't even have a song on Spotify. I don't even have a song on Bandcamp. And it's like, but you're expecting someone to just give you a deal? Just change your life overnight? And like, you can't even put the voice memo on your phone and record yourself? Like, that barrier to entry is really, 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 really low with that affordability thing, right? And then it's like from there you kind of have to branch out. But the romantic side of that is that if you do the thing, people think that they get the return on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And outside of that, back to the conversation of like, if someone tried to hire me to do the amount of work and stuff that I do just for their thing, like my heart says that they couldn't afford it. And that's not some statement because I only charge $5 on my Patreon. That's not some statement. It's just that like the $1,000 for a Friday to go work would set me back in ways that I couldn't make back. And if I forget about that, then I will burn out thinking about that $1,000 all the time.
Man, it's one of the things that I'm struggling with when I had the tattooing thing. Like my ability to say no was a lot higher because like I understood that like to take me away from being able to do this thing in the way that I want to do it, like it specifically it was to play gigs. I remember when I got asked to play a gig and it was like, look, I'm going to be brutally honest. This is what a day means to me. And if I'm doing this, I'm not losing a day. I'm losing 2 or 3.
Yeah. because you're tired, you're on the road, like it's not just a paycheck for one day. It's like this has recourse to it. And my quality of work and ability to deliver at 9 a.m. when I hit the button it changes.
And especially since it was to deliver a thing I wanted to do.
Yeah.
This wasn't just like, oh, I'm tired and I don't want to go to work.
Yeah.
It was like, no. Like, I get that you want me to do this thing for you, but like, it's going to sacrifice 2 or 3 days of the way that I want to be.
Yeah.
Like, my existence in this area, I want to be X.
Yeah.
And you're asking me to say no to that. So that me turning that down, you know, the number to say yes is really high because this is how much I value that. Mm-hmm. Whereas right now I don't have that.
Yeah, you got to create that for yourself.
Yeah,
like honest to God, man, I have started removing ads off my YouTube page. Like I've started like just simplifying things is how I see it. I want to make the process of you enjoying yourself here simple because I set the price and it's only $5, y'all. Yeah. This is my little ad. But like, I don't want to confuse that with some random ass ad that I have no say on. And it comes up right in the middle of me talking. I already talk enough. Like, I don't need that. I just want the experience to be smooth, man. And I trust that it'll come back because I do the rest of it. I do the nice videos. I set up the lights. I do this thing. I do the reactions. Like I do all those things. And I'm very like pleased with them. I'm happy with them. I always say, I wish I could do more. I wish I could do more. I wish I could do more. But it's like those to me are more valuable than like some day job. Like if at my last day job, man, if I was doing the amount of things I'm doing now, like I would just say, no, you guys don't pay me enough. Yeah. But now I'll do it for the $5 because it's awesome. Yeah. Right.
Well, that's the thing is that $5 means way more.
It means way more, man.
Like it's just it,
But like that, someone is willing to give me $5 for me being the videographer, me being the host or the anchor, me being the musician. You know what I mean? Like these are so affirming. Yep. You know? And back then when it was just like, we're going to put it like in Hale and everything, right? All the other bands. It's like, if we're going to put in all that effort, it has to pay us back because it's expensive. To own the t-shirts, bro, and the CDs is expensive. But like all that's out now. So... Yeah, man.
I just think like the more you're talking about it, the more it reminds me of the idea back in the day, like the Renaissance, where the royalty commissioned things. It was like painter paint. Here, we're gonna take care of you. You're gonna do your thing, and you're gonna create. Now, granted, you know, it was a weird thing because like you're creating all these things, and now they're all worth a ton. Back then, it was like because the royalty wanted art.
Yeah, it was like this ceiling is too plain.
Yeah,
let's paint this whole thing. Yeah,
and it was for notoriety and fame and blah 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 blah. But like that idea of like people paying for the creators to be creative. Yeah, it's
a creators market.
Yeah, yeah. No,
see what I'm saying though?
We're cycling back around. I think you would say.
Yeah,
but like that in itself is just like because like if I could get paid to be of that energy at all times. Yeah. It's not a magical amount of money. No. You know what I mean? Dude, I want to make sure my stuff is covered.
It starts at $5 is what I'm saying. You know what
honestly,
I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, honest to God. And, you know, like, actually, the affirmations we got about, was that you and I talking about the like, if we booked Ren for $10,000, that whole thing, that, like, everybody agreed. Like, that's totally what it is because people want to see, like, the actual engagement. Yeah. Right. And, you know, the other side of the other romantic thing is people will think like, oh, YouTube channel, I can just be a YouTube character. Yeah. No, man. Like you got to earn your way to whatever it is you want to do by being that person.
Yeah, but nobody talks that way, right?
No, of course not.
But like, why? Why do we only believe the fable? Why don't we believe the real?
Because people don't like to hear that I got to watch this artist and that artist and do 30 videos a week. People don't like that.
Yeah, but okay. Yes. Why? What is not
people
admirable
hard work?
about that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's just like I don't. I mean, maybe it's just the world that we have right now, but just like the we don't glorify the grind at all. Yeah. The hard work, the determination.
The thing is everyone wants to be grinding, but they don't see value in like the actual. It's like a crab is in the bucket thing, is what it is. Everyone loves that we're trying to get out of the bucket, but how dare you get out?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
What I'm saying?
Jealousy?
Yeah, like you know, for me to sit down and film, like if I just did a video a day, let's just say 7 videos, and people see that as like, I stay home and film YouTube videos all day. What they don't see is the grind, right? And that's like a perfect example of that. And the minute I start getting better, like if I hire someone, people will talk down to me because of it.
Right.
Right. But it's like,
you've just escalated out of.
I've escalated out of like, it would be the same as like, hey man, like, you know, in my band, I just hired a full-time producer.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're getting looked at by people who have never talked to a producer.
Yeah. We paid for someone to mix it. What? You didn't mix it yourself?
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, that's a part of cutting your teeth, but like I'm at a place where I don't need that.
Yeah.
And I'm buying back my time. Right. And people don't want to see that part of the grind when it comes to this. They think YouTube, they think that like I think people think these videos just make themselves.
I think that they think that whatever they've landed on and whatever way that they view it doesn't come with the work to get there.
Yeah. That's
I think it like happens in a snapshot. It's like when I discovered Mr. Beast. Like Mr. Beast, huge.
He was that dude already.
He was that dude for a decade.
Yeah.
And when I got into it, it was just like, oh wow, crazy. He's got a lot of views. But he had no views.
Yeah.
And just did the thing over and over and over again and got unbelievably obsessed and good.
So he had like his you know, his pillars, right? And I don't know what they were. I don't know the Mr. Beast story that well. But like, say if it was like a merch line and his biggest thing was, I just want to just freely give money to people. Like if that was just his mission statement, and he's supporting it through shirts. So the more he gets out in front of you and sells you a shirt, the more money he can give away. So that becomes a part of the art, him meeting people and engaging with people and finding the right people. Like that's part of his narrative now, right? And like, how do you put a price on that?
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean? Like
in your head, you have to be okay with reps.
Yep.
Like, and that the thing that you care about most in it is not what most people will view as the thing you care about most. That's like where the idea of projection, like people will give you whatever it is that they got on them because they'll see themselves on you.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, you have to be okay that not everybody's going to get what you're doing.
Yep.
And whatever they think you're doing it for, you're going to have to not care about that.
Yeah.
Because like, if that's what you care about, you'll burn out.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be Mr. Beast and you're going to start right now, and the whole idea is because Mr. Beast makes a lot of money now or whatever it is.
Yeah, you can't chase that.
Well, it
won't happen.
Good luck,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you have an underlying purpose of the why you do the thing, and you could just do the thing over and over and over and over and over again, like, I mean, I've had this talk with people a bunch of times where it's just like, do you want to do a podcast or whatever? Do you want to do a thing? And the thing that I will say immediately is, are you okay with it doing absolutely nothing? Do you want to do it even though it won't do anything? Because that's a possibility.
Yeah.
So will you be happy looking back on it and going, I'm still glad we did that?
Yeah.
Or is it about the result?
Yeah.
Is it about is it about the miracle? Is it about the winning the lottery thing? Or is it just because you want to do the thing?
Yeah.
Like I did that podcast with Jer, like almost 100 episodes. I don't regret it.
No, not at all.
Didn't do anything for me, but I had a lot of great times having great chats.
Yeah.
And I wasn't looking for a miracle.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking for anything. It was just, this is something I would do. And I did do, well, until I stopped, like till Scotty left.
Yeah.
But it's like, I enjoy doing the thing. And then let's be diligent about making it so that people understand that we enjoy doing the thing.
Yeah. Like when I talked to you about doing this run that we're up to, I wasn't trying to sell you on money or views or clicks or anything. I told you that you had an opportunity to be motivated to discover yourself. And I said that the better you connected with people, and the better you felt that you connected to people, the better you'll feel. And that's where you're going to feel like you're successful. Because if 4 people watch it and those 4 people just connect with everything you say, like no 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 views with nothing is going to mean that. You know what I mean? Like the direct like metric for that would be like conversion to the next step. So like in YouTube land, it's conversion to Patreon, but it could be as simple as conversion to, I sent this person a message, right? Like if 100 people watch this and 3 people sent you a message being like, hey man, that one line that you said about this, like just changed my whole perspective. Like that's what I'm selling you.
Yeah.
Right. And from that, if you do want to look at the business side, make some shirts, make some stickers, make some like promotional whatever. And like your heart's in the right place, and it's okay to make money with that because you're doing the good thing. Right. And like all I want is for a few of my friends to have like a decent, positive, lighthearted conversation that when they're doing the dishes, they can listen to instead of whatever the crap is that's out there.
Yeah.
That's all I want to give. Right. because my aspirations are bigger than a podcast or a podcast episode. This is an opportunity for me to sit with a friend and refine myself.
Well, the fun thing for you and I is we've been doing this without the cameras and the microphones for...
What's funny is we've always had the cameras and microphones, we just never had them on.
We didn't turn them on, yeah. Well, I mean, this is what we do.
Yeah.
When we get together, we like to have talks. We like to challenge each other. We like to grow.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, like, it's a no-brainer either way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it can connect with people and people can take joy from it, enjoyment, if it can help them, if they can just feel seen, man, I'm for it.
Yeah.
That's absolutely for it.
Yeah. Okay, man, I'm going to end the episode on that. Anything else you want to say?
No, it's fun.
That was fun. That was a good one.
Absolutely.
I like that our one point was the one episode of Reacher.
We talked about drums.
Oh, we talked about drums for a minute. And then
We didn't talk about low mids, though.
That's okay. Save the low mids for next time. But I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, buddy.
And we'll see you all in the next one. Sweet.